So I've been going all day.
All right, so we are live. We already got people in here, and I don't know. You all can see the comments and stuff at the bottom. People probably come in and drop their green heart emojis. Hello, a lady. Thank you for joining the live.
What's up?
So we're gonna go ahead and get started because I usually start on time, but I'm late today. So, so for hey everybody, thank you all for joining into the live. I'm Army Princess, U.S. Army soldier. I've been in the military for over 10 years now, and I love to share my experiences with you all. So tonight I have two special guests here on the live. I'll try to get people with different MOSs, and I have a little visitor here that wanted to join our live. But I know I said this month I was going to talk to you all about MOSs and try to bring different MOSs to the forefront so people who are interested in joining the military have a little bit of background on what they may be getting into. So y'all already know who we are. So I'm going to let my panel guests introduce themselves. Quintana, you can go ahead and start.
All righty. Hello, everyone. I am Quintana. I, too, am in the Army. I have been in the Army. It'll be 21 years next month. I am currently stationed in Virginia at the Pentagon. This was probably the best life decision I made 21 years ago, right out of high school. Yeah, that's just a little bit about me. I'm a 42 Alpha, which is a human resources NCO in the Army, and I love what I do.
Okay. And Ebony?
I'm Ebony. So I'm active duty Air Force. I'm stationed at Beale Air Force Base, which is in California near Sacramento. And I have been in 8 years active duty. My AFS, which is my Air Force specialty, is the photojournalism, public affairs. So I'm currently doing like a special duty right now where we develop film for the U-2 aircraft, but normally I would be in a public affairs shop at a different base.
What's a U-2 aircraft? That sounds fun.
It's a high altitude aircraft, and so it still takes photos using a film camera, and so we still have to like old school process the film like you would back in the day with like like those like little cameras that you have to like turn with the little knob on the back. So basically we get a huge roll of film like that. We process it so they can look at the pictures that they take.
Oh, okay. So for people may not know, I just uploaded a video today, but I am a 68 Quebec pharmacy technician stationed here in Virginia as well. And then I'll let you introduce your MOS because you don't talk about it often.
Hey, I'm a 35 Lima counterintelligence agent, work in military intelligence. And I've been in the Army for, carry the one, 16 years. 16 years.
Not carry the one.
Had to remember. And we have a special guest who hasn't served a day in the Army, but he didn't want to go to sleep.
Oh.
He normally goes to sleep at between 6:30 and 7, and he's still up at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Can you put the MOSs up here? That way people joining can see what the MOSs are.
Oh, I sure can. I didn't catch the AFSC one.
Oh, like it's 3N0X5.
No, just a scroll. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get into the first question, and then for the subscribers, y'all already know how I do. We do the questions, and then we're gonna open it up to you all's question and answer in a little while. So stay tuned for that. So for Quintana, why did you choose your MOS?
So, I've always wanted to help people. So again, straight out of high school is when I joined. I actually took the ASVAB as a junior in high school. And they told me, hey, you scored high in human resources area, which basically is administration and taking care of the soldiers and their welfare, basically dealing with mail, dealing with paperwork, anything that has to do with promotions, it all comes through our offices. And like I said, I've always wanted to help people. I always knew since my first Veterans Day parade at the age of 9 that I wanted to join the military. So it was just going through and seeing that full circle. And here I am 21 years later and don't regret a thing.
Wow, that's good. That's a good story. Okay, what about you, Ebony? Oh, and can you put your AFS, what is it?
What is your AFSC again one more time? Sorry.
Oh, it's 3N0X5, photojournalist.
0X5. All right, thank you.
So I don't know if there's an equivalent for the Army, but maybe there is. But I came in without knowing what my job was going to be. So I just went in under, this is the job I wanted, but I was told that it wasn't available at that time. And so I just went in under like a general aptitude. And once we got to basic training, I had the opportunity to choose from whatever was available at that time. And so I just lucked up. I got to basic training and the job that I wanted was the job that was available. Like I had originally went to my recruiter and was said, the only thing I want to do is be a photographer. And he was like, you can't do that. So he was like, those jobs don't come around often. So you need to choose something else. And so I was kind of like bummed about it. And then I made the decision. It's like, all right, I'll just shoot my shot and try and just go into basic without a guaranteed job and see what I come up with. And I ended up getting it.
So I got a question for the Air Force. So you all choose your job after basic?
No, so some people do come in with a guaranteed job, but you also can come in with a guaranteed aptitude, where it's just like, if you know that you want to get a maintenance job, you can be guaranteed a maintenance job. If you know you want to have just a general job like that, or an admin job, or like an electronic job or something like that. But for you just will have to go to basic on your second or third week. Then whatever is coming down through whatever, rack and stack they have for jobs, then you get to choose from that little list. So that's what I did. But a lot of people want to have a job before you go to basic training.
Yeah, I think
that is ideal.
No, before I go in there.
Yeah, so I just was rolling the dice and ended up getting a job on it.
You're a jackpot though. It's good.
Period.
You want to talk about why you picked yours?
Hey, shout out to Biggs. What up, my man? That's my coworker, y'all. Sorry. Well, not really my coworker, but he's Ebony and Ivy. Shout out. You said how I picked my job?
Why did you pick your job?
So I picked my job because I wanted a job that required air conditioning. Because the Army goes out to bruh. It's my time to shine. I'll never get no time to shine. So I had a selection of being a counterintelligence agent or an analyst. And truth be told, I just kind of eeny, meeny, miny, mowed it. And I'm so glad I picked, they were kind of similar. The two were similar. So I picked the job. I wanted the one that actually did the job versus the one that analyzed the job. And I'm grateful for doing it. So I was kind of got lucky with those two options.
Okay. So I already talked about mine, so I will go on.
Okay.
Where is the school that you went to your tech school or your AIT, and how long was it?
So for me, I went to school, Fort Jackson, South Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina. And at the time, in 99, it was 11 weeks and about 5 days. But currently the course is now 8 weeks and 5 days. They've combined it. My MOS used to be a 75 Bravo. It was 3 administrative assistant MOSs. It was a 75 Bravo, 71 Lima, and a 75 Hotel. So I started out as a 75 Bravo. Then they merged all 3 of them together and developed the 42 Alpha course. So now that's 8 weeks and 5 days to be exact, in South Carolina. Yep.
Did you happen to go to school in the summer?
I did, actually. So my basic active service date is 5 August. And when I tell you, and being from Massachusetts, Boston, it was nothing to play with. I have never experienced heat like that before, but you get used to it. I mean, and you meet so many people, and just being out in the world it's an amazing experience. So again, yes, that heat was something else. The heat and the red clay I had never seen before. So August until about October. And then my AIT was at the same place as well, South Carolina, Fort Jackson.
did
So I did my basic and my AIT in South Carolina.
Oh, you was there for a long time then.
Yes, very long.
What about
Yeah.
you, Ebony?
Okay, so I came in as a photographer at first. And so anyone who does any of those type of jobs across any of the branches, we all go to the same school. It's Fort Meade. It's the Defense Information School. So I was in class with Army, Marine, Coast Guard. So we all take the same course. I think once you get down, after you get through the basics of everything, you kind of split off into your services to find that service specific stuff that you're supposed to do. And I think like with the Army, I know like Ricky Brown, and that's what his job was. I think the Army makes them actually do photo and video regardless. And in the Air Force at the time, we were still separate. So I was only photo at the time, and then if you want to be video broadcast, you were something separate. So, but it is at Fort Meade, depending on what you go through as, it's usually about 60 to 70 training days. So depending on when you go there, that can last about 3-4 months, stretch out, depending on, because it's actual school. So they kind of like go home for Exodus and all that. The school like shuts down. So it could be about 3 to 4 months, but overall, yeah, you learn the basics of whatever you're going in as, photo or video, writing, and then you split off into your services.
Okay.
Hey, shout out to Ricky Bowden.
Yeah.
I like me some Ricky Bowden. He cool in the mud.
So you kind of, I thought of something when you said that, because you said that Air Force and Army is all together. And I don't know if it's like that in your school, but I know for ours too. So for medical, we go all together as well. Well, I know Navy for sure. I'm not really sure about Air Force, but I know for sure Navy and Army go like in the classroom together.
Yeah.
And I never really mentioned that in any of my videos, but I guess that would be good to put out. So my AIT was in San Antonio, Texas. And it was about 4.5 months long. And we did have Navy in our class, as well as some of the other foreign military.
Yeah, we had foreign military too. We had like an Egyptian Army captain in our class and some other foreign military. But
we have a few. So for just people that are, trying to see what to expect when they go to AIT and when they learn their job, you may be in AIT or a school with people from other branches. Mm-hmm. Ooh, you got a cool place. Where's your school at?
I feel like you're trying to be funny.
I always wanted to go there.
I don't know why. I went to AIT at Fort Huachuca, Arizona. At the time, AIT I think was 19 weeks long. I don't know. I was partying the whole time. So I'm just saying, like, it was lit. But there's nothing to do there. There's literally
nothing. Well, I don't want to go to
there.
Fort Huachuca, but I do want to go to Arizona.
Yeah,
like
that's much better.
Or Phoenix or something.
Yeah. But yeah, that's me. Gavin didn't go to AIT.
Where is it close? Where is that close?
Not yet.
What's the nearest city?
It's close to Tucson. It's about, God bless you. It's about an hour away from Tucson.
Okay.
Yeah. It's also next to Sierra Vista, but I just went with Tucson because I figured you'd know that.
Okay. I think we got a base out there.
Yeah, y'all have is it Randolph?
We have Davis-Monthan and Luke Air Force Base, but I can't remember which one is closer to Tucson. One's closer to Phoenix. I can't remember which one, but I know we got 2 in Arizona.
Yeah, let's go with that. No, there's one right by Fort Huachuca, actually, though. So it's probably the one that's close to Tucson, because I think it's like connected or something.
And then in San Antonio, I know they have Lackland.
Mm-hmm.
It's right there. So, okay, what is the hardest part about your job?
The hardest part of my job. Let's see. We definitely can work 24 hours a day. Constantly having to ensure accountability is a big part of my MOS, and basically meaning that, we're accountable for everyone, making sure everybody's where they're supposed to be at the right time, and dealing with mail as well. That could be a tough one too, because you have to know rules and regulations with the military, with the state, federal, So that can become a little difficult. But other than that, and of course, dealing with customers every day, it can be a great day in customer service, and it can also be a not so great day in
I
customer
feel your
service.
pain.
So when she says mail, I'm assuming she means
So
mail.
mail, actual mail, like
From the post
post
office.
office. Yeah,
Oh,
post office mail. We deal with that. We have certain battalions or brigades have their own personal mail room. So we take a specific class for that to get our mail handler's card, and then we're able to distribute mail. But yeah, I would say the hardest part, if it has to be hard, it all depends on your personality. I mean, everybody's different. Some people are suited to sit in the customer service area, and some just aren't. So it really does depend, and you just have to know yourself and your tolerance level, honestly. But if
That's a good
anything,
way
they
to put
could.
it. I like that.
I mean, at the end of the day, you'll have your good days and bad days as it comes with any job. But yeah, I think the bright side to that is actually dealing with the customers and being able to help them and assist them and answer their questions. And my first duty station was in Hawaii, and the biggest thing for us was getting people's family over to Hawaii. They have to get what they call command sponsored, and knowing that I'm able to assist in that journey, and then seeing, the families arrive and they come to us first, it was very rewarding. So like I said, the customer service, it has its ups and its downs, definitely.
Okay, so with the public affairs or photojournalism type job, you get to touch on some of that stuff too. Like we have customer service side because you have to deal with people getting their official photos done or just needing products from you. And then you have public speaking. So you have to be used to talking to people. You have to be like a very sociable person and a personable person to where you can go out and just kind of like talk to anyone and communicate effectively in order to like give briefings to commanders or just to do interviews. So you just have to have that type of personality. So it is definitely, if you don't have that type of personality, you may be miserable in that type of job. The biggest thing I think a lot of people don't realize is that people who like in the Army would be combat cam. But for me as a photojournalist, you do sometimes have to do like investigative or criminal photography. So if there's a death on the base, if there's an accident, if there is an autopsy, that type of stuff, you might have to take pictures of like injuries, assault victims, suicides. So that is something that people don't really realize, that we do have a on-call facet to our job where you're on call for a certain amount of time. And if you get an alert call from security forces or the MPs, then you would have to go out there and take pictures of whatever accident or whatever crime or document whatever needs to be documented. So that is definitely something that a lot of people don't realize, and you need to consider if you're like squeamish or, you can't really handle that type of trauma, taking pictures of it and that kind of thing.
Okay.
Hey, shout out to Kevin Barr. Hey, that's our local recruiter. He's always in here answering current questions. My brother. Good looking out, bro.
Yeah, if y'all have any questions, we'll answer them.
Yeah, he's a keyboard warrior. He's ready with those questions.
So I could talk about mine unless you want to go.
I forgot the question.
The hardest part about my job is
My bad.
the hardest part about my job, I would say, is the same thing as Quintana, is the customer service. For the most part, customer service, because I talked about it today. You got to think about when people come to the pharmacy is probably their last stop. So they come to the doctor because they don't feel good. And then they see the doctor, they wait around all day. They may have labs, x-ray, MRI, whatever the case may be. And then their last stop is pharmacy. So by the time they get to us, they already been there half the day. They don't feel good. And it's another long wait that we're telling them to fill their prescription. So we get people that are not so nice. And we get people that are really, really nice. So it just depends on who you get at your window and how you are able to, your level, like you said, your level of what you can do and how you can handle them. The other part of the customer service part that I would say is just not being complacent. So, because you could potentially kill somebody very easy if you're not paying attention to what you're putting in the bottle or what you're putting in the IV bag. So you have to really, really pay attention. Don't get lazy. Don't get sidetracked talking and joking around, because you could kill somebody for real. So
I always have a question about pharmacy techs. Like, so whenever I go to the pharmacy, it's, a lot of veterans come in. They're usually like really, really old, and they just want to talk to somebody. So like every time I go, I feel like, do y'all ever have those conversations like where y'all are only supposed to talk to people for a certain amount of time? Like if it's an old man and he just want to chat it up at the window, like do y'all just like shoo him away, or do y'all keep
So we do get a lot of the retirees, they like to talk. Like they at home by themselves and they don't have anybody to talk to. So when they come to that window, they will hold your ear up. And you just kind of have to like be nice about it. But a lot of times in the pharmacies that I have worked in, the technicians kind of get measured on like how many prescriptions they do and how long it takes for them to do a transaction at the window. And talking to one person for one day for like an extra 10 minutes is not going to mess you up. But people know that they can't just sit there and like jibber jab at the window every day forever, because they do get their evaluations on that. So.
I have another question. I always want to ask, this is my perfect opportunity. So do you ever have like awkward moments at the pharmacy? Like where you
like for me or for the patient?
Well, I guess it would be for the patient, but I mean, maybe if you know the person, you know what I mean? Like, have you ever had like
I've had people that,
hey, don't lose your job.
I'm not gonna say no names, but I've had people that are afraid to tell me what they need at the pharmacy. Yeah. I know what you need because I can see it in the screen. I know why you came in here and what you was doing this weekend or what you want to do this weekend.
Hey, don't do them. Don't pass.
When I'm at work, like I really don't care, and I do so many prescriptions every day that I don't have time to like pay attention to that little stuff. But I can see where people might be embarrassed or whatever. Like a lot of his friends have to come to the pharmacy and they're guys and they come into the pharmacy and they see me and they know who I am. And a lot of times though, if I see his friends, I try to not service them. Like I try to not have them at my window just because it could get awkward.
Yeah, but there's no like rules like you can't.
No, I can't talk to anybody else about their stuff. Like I can't come home to him and talk about their stuff, but I can't be like, oh, I know him, so I don't want to help him. Like, I can't do that.
Does that make sense? That's all my questions.
That was a good one.
In the audience. She said,
I've always wondered that same thing. I'm like,
I know I've been in the pharmacy and like, sometimes it's young airmen or something. And you just think like, that must be awkward. They giving certain people certain type of prescriptions. And it's like, what if it's your supervisor, somebody's supervisor or something,
Yeah.
It would be awesome. Not in the comments. She's talking about one of the perks being, who's really taking care of themselves.
Yo, that's the truth though. That's the truth. Cause I in my time, I done seen all kind of stuff from different people. You want to talk?
So what's the question?
What's the hardest part of it?
I mean, because I feel like that's a valid question because Ebony, she asked a bunch of questions too. I didn't know if that pertained to me or what was going on. Like, so, the hardest part of my job, well, I'm a technical. I do technical CI. So as far as that job, it's like a gift and a curse. You have to really like what you're doing because you always have to learn and keep up with today's technology. So it's not something where you learn the process and then you just carry that over for the rest of your career. You're constantly learning. So it becomes part of way of life. And if you don't like it, then this isn't the job for you. Counterintelligence is kind of the same way. You have to deal with people, conduct interviews, and do a lot of paperwork and be able to write. And if you're not able to write in a clear and concise manner, military writing style is probably the easiest writing style I've ever come across. But if you're not willing or able to get that, then you're going to have a tough time being an investigator.
Okay.
Well, I kept it short and sweet.
Yeah.
You see that? I didn't even like
His job, I couldn't do his
Clear
job.
and concise.
Hey, I try to tell people I'm clear and concise, but they don't listen to me. See, I like you. I like your style.
You got to kind of know what job is for you, because I definitely couldn't do your job.
You don't even know what my job is, though.
I do know what it is, but it's very technical, and it's like way up here. And
so you say you're not an analyst.
No, I'm not an analyst. No.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm an agent.
Okay. I guess that's different, because like with my job now, I work in an intelligence squadron, but they're all analysts, most of them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. I don't know if we have an equivalent to counterintelligence in the Air Force.
You guys have OSI agents, and they can do both.
Oh, so that's what okay. Now I can connect.
They do both criminal and intel.
Oh, okay. Okay, now I was kind of like, where would that be? Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, so what is the most rewarding part of your job?
I think for me, like I said before, it's definitely being able to help those families, especially when they're separated, dealing with their paperwork. You know, I'm always loving the fact that I can produce promotion orders and make sure people are getting promoted, that they're getting paid, again, that they're getting, their mail, their packages and things like that. So it's always rewarding to have people come to the S1 and, pick up those types of things. We also do the award ceremonies and things. So it's really taking care of the welfare of the soldiers and making sure that they're happy and their morale is up. And, I dislike when I have to take away certain things, promotions, for example, but it's more good than not. So yeah, that would be the most rewarding is making people happy.
She sounds like a 42 Alpha commercial.
I am. I'm a 42 Alpha.
Like Ebony though, real quick. I can put a whole laugh.
Oh, shoot your shot. You might make it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, no.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, snap. She came on here glammed up, too.
Right.
My bad.
Okay, so while we got you in the spotlight, tell us what's the most rewarding part.
I guess it just depends on what you value. For me, like sometimes you have the opportunities when you're public affairs to like take pictures of those really important moments. So like when people come home from deployments and stuff like that, or just cover a really good story. So if the major like rewarding part about PA or like photojournalism is like being able to tell those stories that don't often get told. So sometimes we don't have I don't feel like we have like a direct impact, like where we're like helping people get promoted, but we do get to amplify the stories that are important and other people need to hear. So that's the best part.
Oh, that's cool. From a different perspective.
And what about you?
Me?
Pharmacy. Giving people the skills they need to get back in the game.
Yeah,
Right.
well, I would say for me,
She said, "Get back in the game." Are y'all gonna let that slide?
I would say
that's one way of putting it.
yes. So I worked outpatient for most of my career, like mostly all of my career. I just went to inpatient pharmacy actually in January. So outpatient is at the windows, like y'all see, and the inpatient is behind the scenes, making the IVs and stuff. And so I was a little nervous about going to inpatient because to me it's a more scarier, but I find it more rewarding because I guess we directly get to see the impact of what we do. So like an outpatient, I give you your stuff in a medicine bottle and you take it home. But inpatient, you're admitted to the hospital. So like when I first started learning, like making the IVs, we made a lot of like stuff for the moms in labor and delivery and just people, especially right now with COVID, we made a lot of COVID medications. So you actually get to see what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like see it helping the patient. And they're there for 3-4 days. So you see them get better. We see patients go from the ICU to like a regular ward and then get discharged and go home. So that's rewarding for me, is to actually see people get better and go home.
I don't know what game they was talking about. One of the followers, they asked. It wasn't my question. You know what I'm saying?
What about for you?
The most rewarding part of my job is actually like seeing the newer people that come into our job, because we have an influx of people that go to school, and we get to see that new energy that they bring. I love doing every mission that I do, because I know it just continues to help protect our nation's secrets. So it's just fun for me, and I love like learning new methods and ways to help improve our mission, because I feel like we're just adding on to protecting our nation, protecting our nation's secrets, and protecting our soldiers that's out there on the front lines. What up, El Bravo? What up, El Bravo? I'm my dude right now.
We got people that come in every week.
Every week.
So thank y'all for coming in the live every single week. We're gonna have to make Chance a moderator, because he come in every week and work the comment section.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Like we got more than 33 people on the live and we need a moderator. But we act like we big time. It's all in how you feel.
I'm about to say, it's all in how your perception.
Yes. Okay, so we at 30 minutes now. I just got one more question for you all, and then we can open it up to question and answer. So my last question is, what advice would you give someone that is, joining the military and they're gonna do your MOS?
For me, those that are deciding to go into the administrative field, I would say, again, focus on your customer service, being able to deal with people one-on-one, being able to actually work computers, Excel, Microsoft Word, things like that. And like I said, the biggest thing would be customer service. It's a very rewarding MOS. We can work almost anywhere there's soldiers. They need a 42 Alpha to take care of that paperwork. So yeah, customer service and being able to adapt to different situations, because you're going to face some situations where it's like, okay, what did I get myself into? But take your time, one day at a time, and you'll get through it. It's not a super tough MOS, but it does have some parts where you really have to be on a number, especially when it comes to accountability, because you have to know how many people is in your specific area at all times. That's your responsibility. So yeah, work on your customer service skills, work on computer literacy, honestly, and have a lot of patience, because it'll test it. It'll definitely test it.
What about you, Ebony?
Okay, so my advice for people that come in as any type of public affairs or photojournalist, just to be someone that is like a self-starter. You kind of have to think about it how like a news station operates. You have to go out and get your own stories. You have to go after your own news. So you have to be someone that doesn't need to be like micromanaged. So anyone that could be independent, have good interpersonal skills, be able to talk to people, receive criticism, take criticism well. So, because you're going to get on everything that you bring back, somebody's going to critique it and edit it again, and you'll have to change things. So just be open to change and be flexible, because really that's how it works. Like, we may not have an idea of what's going to happen that day, but something newsworthy happens, and now your whole day is surrounded around whatever just happened. So like, you have a big news story, all of a sudden you're not leaving, you're not going home at 4:30 like you thought you were. We got to stay because we got to stand up a media operations center or something like that. So just understand that job requires you to be flexible, to be able to talk to people, be able to communicate, and to be able to like be a go-getter and get everything out on your own.
Okay. I would just say, for me, the
one time already.
Oh, you can go.
No, you good? It's your show.
The advice that I would give is you should know, if you like, I guess it's hard for people to know, but like you said, customer service is the biggest thing. And then for pharmacy, we have pretty long hours. People don't really realize it. So I would say, like, out of all of the medical jobs, not all of them, but most of the medical jobs, we probably have some of the longest hours because we service people before they, like right before they go to work, all the way up until they get out of work. Where most, like if you just go to the clinic or you just go see the doctor, they're like 7 to 4 or, 8 to 4. But for us, we have to stay open for when people get out of work at 4 o'clock and they need to come get their medicine. And then if you inpatient, it's 24 hours. So people are admitted and stay in the hospital all day, every day, Christmas, whatever. So it's a 24-hour operation. So just be prepared to have, we have shifts. So it's not like you're working from morning to night, but just be prepared to be on shift work and have not a set schedule.
This is not directed towards any questions in the comments, but the IG handles have been posted for each of the people. Just so everybody wants to follow them. The IG handles are there. Just throwing that out there just in case anybody had any questions on what. No, I was just putting it so everybody knew.
On the camera information, if anybody had any questions.
Yeah, like I'm just saying, like, because we didn't say that the IG was in there, so I'm just throwing that out there. Yeah. So, my job. You need to be a self-starter. You need to be able to. You need to be a fire and forget person. If you need somebody to hold your hand every step of the way, 35 Lima is not the job for you, because it's just not going to work. Oh, okay, I see. I see Marcus drop the blue hearts. Snap, yeah.
What's the number?
That boy out there, that's Steph Curry. I'm talking about he's shooting when he walk in the gym, boy. I'm talking about he ain't warmed up. He ain't took his warm-ups off. He ain't waiting for the ref to call him in the game. He's shooting. Like, you know what I'm saying? He said, quarantine, I don't know what's going to happen to me tomorrow. Just saying.
YOLO.
So, yeah, you need to be a self-starter. You need to be able to think outside the box for this job. That's it. Hey, I've been real, consistent with my concise.
You've been very good.
Hey.
So I want to do some shout-outs real quick and just put some information out. I got people that literally come to my live every single week that we have it. And I appreciate y'all. And I want to put Miss Elady. Let me see if I could go back up here.
Yeah.
Put her up on the, I just want to say thank you. I don't know where it's at. It's kind of far. But she said she go to basic training on Monday. So y'all give her some words of wisdom. She go to basic training on Monday, and then I have another subscriber, Comfort Jado. She's always in here, and I know she leaves really soon. So shout out to y'all. And then also coming is the Army Princess collection. I don't know if y'all haven't been seeing my posts on Instagram, but make sure you go check it out and follow the page, especially for y'all people that's going to be going to basic training. It won't be ready for people that's going to basic training like next week, but definitely by the end of August, we're going to have something hot for you all. So go check out the page. We're going to have to put it up on the screen, Army Princess Collection, because we got a lot of things coming.
Yeah, we got a lot of things coming. We ain't getting no sleep, though. But yeah, we got a lot of things. We got merchandise coming. Army Princess Collection. Follow it on Instagram. I'll put it on there with the rest of the Instagram handles that we all have on the screen. And, you know what I'm saying? Just so y'all know.
He said I stretched.
I mean, he did stretch because he said he came up with the respectful, like, she looked good. And then he let the comments simmer for a minute. And then I give, my man, you know what I'm saying? I give him props.
Okay, we want to start answering questions. Let's see if we could go back up there. Because I don't even know where we started. So we got some medical jobs. 68 November, 68 Delta. I had a friend that was 68 Delta and she really enjoyed it. So I think I'm always an advocate for anything medical. So Nubian, she's usually in the live. She said, what happens if you're not able to pass your AIT course? Does the Army change your MOS?
So you get recycled.
Yeah, I was gonna say
You get recycled. You get another shot, and boy, and then my bad, y'all. And then if and then depending on how many times they give you, then you go back. You go to what's called needs of the Army. So in short, yes.
Also, once you do join and say you've been in your MOS for a couple of years, you do have the opportunity to reclass.
Mm-hmm.
So that can also come with a reenlistment. That can be a bonus to a reenlistment. You could always reclass to something else. So you're not stuck per se in your specific MOS. Of course, there's requirements that you'll need to have in order to reclass to something else, but there's always that option.
And the Air Force?
It's similar. If you fail out of the tech school, then you do get a chance to try it again. You get recycled. I guess I don't know if it's like a certain criteria, but I know people when I was in tech school, they got recycled once, and then if you failed again, you had the opportunity to get like retrained into something else if they had something else available that you qualify for. If not, then I guess you're out of luck. But it's a similar process. And then like you have this certain window within your first enlistment where you can retrain into a different job.
Okay, so that's similar.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what the blue hearts mean. Like, wow, the blue hearts. Like, I was just wondering.
Oh,
okay.
Air Force.
Oh, Air Force. Oh, he thought that through. Oh.
He stretched. Remember, he stretched.
My man did. Okay, I see you. Aim high.
So she also asked, can having a degree help you get the MOS you want? I know for us, for pharmacy, if you are a pharmacy technician already before you come in, you don't even have to go to AIT. You can skip AIT. So I guess.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I guess in a way, in a sense, it could, depending, but it's still based on your scores. I mean, hopefully, I guess if you already have a degree, then you would probably have high enough scores to get what you wanted.
And also coming in, just a caveat to that, but also coming in with the degree, you might want to look at going towards the officer side or the commission side versus the enlisted side. So it's all on what you're looking for, what you're trying to get, how far you're trying to go. But having a degree, you have the option of going enlisted or commissioned.
I'm laughing at this question.
I was too.
Does the Army use update?
Oh my word.
Not the thick boxy laptops.
Right,
But
the
you know what?
boxy
It's
laptops.
It's
Hey,
those
hey,
government
hey.
laptops.
20 years ago, they were way worse. We called them the green machines 20 years ago. But they have definitely come a long way. They're not the 20-year ago computers. I can definitely attest to that. Will it be the latest and greatest? Probably not, but they are they try to stay up to date, if you will. And sometimes you get the dual monitors and all of that good stuff. But yeah, it's definitely not the ones from 20 years ago. You'll get what you need. I can say that. You'll get what you need.
I know for us in the pharmacy, we have like, if you look at some of the like Google, like Army pharmacy, some of them have like these big computers because we have a lot of software on ours that only certain computer systems can take, I guess. So I don't know how to explain it because I'm not the techie person, but they're not going to be like no thin laptops that you see in the Dell commercials, right, because of all the stuff we have to do on them. Somebody said, do you have the 20-year ago computers? Confused.
What? Some MOS video showing it on the thick boxy laptop. Nah, we getting more up to date.
That's just because the Army too cheap to update their commercials and they promotion.
Yeah, we just our commercials and stuff, but we a little bit more up to date. You know, we rocking and rolling. That's funny though.
I don't know what the best session. What does that mean?
Season, I think.
Oh, season.
Shoot, a fall.
Ooh, it depends on where you go. Yeah, it really depends on where you go. Like I mentioned earlier, South Carolina, Columbia is no joke around about this time up until October. And that, I mean, I can only speak on South Carolina, but it really does depend. As far as like courses or what school you're going to, that doesn't matter. If you're speaking weather-wise, Definitely, if you like the heat, then South Carolina is the place to be. But if not, you in
Yeah,
for it.
like for me, I went to AIT. I went to basic in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri in January. And when the day we got there, the whole base was shut down because they had a snow day because it was so much snow. And then we went to the field like probably like a month into it, so maybe February, which usually has a lot of snow in February. And we had ice on the top of our little cups of orange juice in the morning out in the field. Like it was so cold that the ice froze on the top. So I would not suggest going in January. But you really can't pick. I guess it depends on when you go, when you want to leave, but you don't really kind of get the option to be like, oh well, I'll just wait till the fall. Anybody else? Let's see what the next question is. You're not invited to the live anymore, guys. For people who are leaving before it's out, will they be able to send the mailing info? I don't think you get your mailing info. Is that for like basic training?
I think she was talking about your stuff. Your
for me.
Yeah.
I thought you were asking for the address. We won't have it ready to the end of August. So I mean, yes, if somebody gets the address, they can send it to them in August. I'm trying to let me see. Because I'm trying to go to the next question.
Oh, but I was saying you need a phone for him.
That's a funny one. I think that's it for the questions. Anybody have any other questions? Yeah, it's gonna be hot before Jackson next month.
But you'll do it. You'll be able to make it, especially if you're in Georgia now, Takara. You'll be just fine.
Do you all have anything you want to add or say? How often do you receive orders to change bases?
Like PCSing or permanent change of station, which is what that PCSing means. But it depends. For the Army, it really does depend. It depends on where you're needed. It depends on how long you've been at your current duty station, your schooling. It really depends on the individual. But you could switch up anywhere between 18 months to 3 years on a duty station, and sometimes even longer. But typically that's the average. I would say about 18 months to 3 years that you'll be in one spot. Then, of course, you always have your restricted tours where you go somewhere without your family for 12 months. That's typically overseas. But other than that, when you're within the continental United States, it's usually 18 months to 3 years that you're at one duty location.
Is that the same for Air Force?
My experience, people tend to stay at one base longer in the Air Force unless you're like applying for a specific job, and that's what most people do, like either try and go to Korea for a short tour or Turkey for a short tour in order to get out of there. But in the bases I've been, people stay for like 5-7 years. So we don't move as often as the Army does, I don't think. It's not a guarantee, like you're only going to be at a base for a certain amount of years. Like you could really sit there. So that's why a lot of people kind of like do a deployment, hopefully get some orders, go to Korea, go to Turkey, that kind of thing.
Turkey's amazing. I was there in 2016.
Oh, really?
For 12 months.
Good job. Hey, sorry, y'all. Ashley had to go take our son to go put him to bed because I've had it up to here with him. Just keeping it real with you. It was either me or him. Somebody had to go.
So he don't go to bed, I'm finna go to bed.
Hey, somebody was, you know what I'm saying? Call of Duty been calling my name. This person asked about being dual military. Dual military is a challenge. I guess I'll start it off with us. I don't know if any of y'all are married. I guess we should ask Ebony if she married first before we talk about the wedding.
I am not married. I was, though. I was married before to a military person. So I understand that struggle of dual military. It was very short-lived, but I do understand that dual military struggle. So, yeah.
Did you want to, it looks like somebody's willing to try again. I mean,
that's what it looks like. I too was dual military, but like Ebony, no longer short-lived. Yeah. So yeah, that was a long time ago in Hawaii.
Like he cries for like 35 hours when I put him to bed. Ashley just sprinkled dust on him. Well, all we talked about was Ebony's about to become a dual military couple. And and we're just answering this question. So you want to talk about being dual military and me returning from deployment?
So how is like being? I actually like being dual military because my spouse kind of knows what's going on. I mean, I guess I've never been married to a civilian, so I can't speak to that. But I hear that like a lot of times people like the spouse doesn't really understand the lingo. They don't kind of understand what's going on. They can't really empathize with all of the stuff because they're not doing it. They're not like, going to the field and working the job and having to go to PT. So when you have somebody that knows, that can understand what you're going through, to me, I guess it's a little bit easier to like deal with military life. And then for me, he joined like 2 years before me. So he's like I would say my mentor. So it's good to have somebody that you can bounce ideas off of and talk about career stuff. But you kind of loud over here.
Were y'all together before either one of y'all joined, or did y'all meet in the military?
We met in the military.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
We had a video about how she stalked me, and I finally said yes.
Not finally.
Right. I'm glad you said yes, finally.
Right.
Well, I mean, I just like to be accurate in my stories.
I would say though, for coming back from deployment, like when he comes back from deployment, just give him a little space and a little time. I know for us, like I don't like the redeployment time. I don't like the redeployment. And you know what? It took me a while, and I think of it like, I don't want to say like jail because it's not like jail, but you know how like if somebody go to jail, when for them,
I don't want to say jail, but
well, that's the only thing I can equate it to, because when somebody goes to jail, they're like kind of doing their own thing over here, but life is still going on, and people still carrying on and doing stuff, and so you kind of, this person get in their routine. I'm over here. This person getting their routine, and this person that's still at home, still doing their stuff, getting their routine, and then you got to kind of like line the people back up, and they've been doing their own thing for a year. Mm-hmm. So that time when you come back, it's not going to be exactly for that one person that went to deploy. They think it's going to be like how it was, but it's not.
Yes.
Because time kept going. So you have to give that other person, probably I would say the deploying person, time to get back in the swing of things, and don't expect for everything to go right back the way it was before he left.
Patience. Have a lot of patience.
So no, that's very important. And we had to adjust a couple times. And we've had, and I travel a lot depending on my job, depending on what mission I'm doing. And so we have minor adjustments. But a deployment, this is the way I think the easiest way to put it for me is that the person deploying, everything goes on pause for them. Because when they leave, like their social life and everything's on pause because they're just deploying and all they do is work, eat, and work out. That's really pretty much it when you deploy. And then they come back, and it's like they go from pause to play, and they think it was still 2019, and it's now 2020, and they think the baby was 2 years old, but the baby's 3 years old. So there's an adjustment for the person coming back, and then like Ashley said, it's an adjustment for the person who's at home because their routine might have changed as opposed to the baby going to sleep at 7:30. The baby may now go to sleep at 8:30. But when you redeploy, you just like, well, why is it friggin' 8 o'clock and the baby ain't asleep? Mm-hmm. So it's a mutual understanding and communication process that both parties really should go through and just have patience and say, listen, we know there's going to be good days, there's going to be bad days. Go play your video game, go play basketball. Let's go our separate corners real quick and then come together, and we can discuss the adjustment. But being dual military is I think is advantageous because, like you said, we both know, we know what the military is about, even though sometimes you act like you don't. Just throw that out there for free. She'd be like, tell him no.
I don't. This would be, I guess, a question for you.
Yeah, you can. It doesn't really help you much picking your job. Again, everything's governed by the ASFAB, but it will help you once you get in your job, depending on what your job is. So you definitely can. At least for the Army, I think.
I don't know nothing about no IT certs. I don't know.
Oh, I didn't even see the IT part. Yeah, got you.
I don't know. You got to ask the recruiter.
Yep. For sure.
How's life adjusting back to your father? Okay, so that's what we just talked about.
Oh yeah, I didn't even see that. See, we foreshadowed your question. We got you, Jalen May. I think we said that right.
All right.
There's more.
Oh, it's some more?
Yeah. Right here, bam.
So you already have a family before you join?
Yeah, she's married with the family. So, is there any advice? Somebody joining married with the family?
Do you have advice?
Yeah. I would say prepare them to be flexible. Because one thing that's constant with the military is change. Yes. So prepare them to be flexible. But, there's a lot of fun activities. The military has pushed a big emphasis on family activities on base. I guess now with COVID-19 is a little different. But a lot of the bases have put a lot of money in for family installation command. Has put a lot of money for family different activities on base. So they'll have a lot of different things to do.
Do y'all have any advice or anything y'all want to say?
I guess I would just echo what you said. I think that's probably good advice because depending on how big your family is or how old your children are, how long you've already had this family, that might be a very big adjustment, or it could be something where like some people get married right before they join. Yeah. But if you've obviously been married with kids for 5, 6, 7 years, that's going to be an adjustment to where you packing up your family and moving to a whole nother place and maybe moving around every few years. So I would definitely,
But with that, I know with the Army, we have what they call the Army Community Service that assists families with moving, budgeting, counseling, anything you can think of. There's services out there, and I'm pretty sure that's across the board for all branches of the service. Yeah. You have programs set up to specifically help those with families, those single parents, those, with special needs children. There's a program for everything. So just know that coming in with a family or not, you're going to be well taken care of.
Yeah. Okay, this next question, when can you get your room with your own bathroom?
All he wants is they just want their own bathroom. That's it.
I guess that depends. That depends on where you're at, how the living conditions are where you're at, where you're stationed, and what your command structure is and how they have their policies set up as far as living out of the barracks or in the barracks. Of course, if you're single, more than likely you'll be living in the barracks unless you're at a certain rank, but that all depends again on the setup. I can't say that it would be E5 or E6 because it's different. Some posts, they allow you to move off when you're E4. So it really does depend. Now, if you have dependents, you're definitely going to be out of the barracks and in a home. But if you are single with no children, it can vary according to your command and where you're at.
Yeah, I would say for us, like the places that I've been for the most part, about E5, you may get your own room, depending. But like here, this is in Virginia where I'm at, the first place that I've been where E4s, like you said, live off base. And that was because the barracks were full. So if the barracks fill up, then they have to send people off base. So But at my last like 3 or 4 places, I know E4 and below for sure share the room. But some places, if it's empty, if the barracks are super empty, then they'll give you your own room. So it, like you said, it just depends.
Yeah, get your own room with a community bathroom. Not many places have your own bathroom and room. Again, it depends on where you're at. Because if you're overseas, then you may be in different living quarters than you were on stateside. So it really depends on where you're at.
And I know the Air Force have they bougie.
I was about to say,
I'm waiting for her to talk because they probably got suites with their own parking spots and everything.
I was just gonna
find out.
I can't relate to that, but
see there.
As like in the dorms, you can, like, my troops now, like they both have their own room with their own bathroom. So like it depends on how the dorms are set up. Like when I first was in the dorms, I had my own room, but it was a shared bathroom with like my suite mate. So that's how a lot of the dorms are, where you have your own living space. You won't necessarily have someone in your room, but you may share a bathroom. But then the newer dorm buildings were like quads. So everybody had their own room, own bathroom, but they shared a kitchen area. So
that's kind of cool.
like 4 people. Yeah. So it just depends. And like I said, you know, like my troops now, if the dorms get full, they can move off base when they're like E3s sometimes. So if they're full, they'll let them move off. But usually it's when you're E4, they start kicking you off as a senior airman in the Air Force. But
okay.
Somebody asked E6, I couldn't imagine waiting until I was an E5 or E6 to get my own bathroom.
About PCS and during COVID, and I think this kind of just depends too, because I see people PCSing, and then some people. I got 2 soldiers right now that was supposed to PCS this summer, and they aren't going into the fall now. But we get new people.
It depends on where you're at. It really depends on where you're at. If you're overseas, you still have the potential to be able to come back. You may have to be quarantined for those 14 days at a stateside base before you go go right home. But yeah, it depends on what your mission is and what your command, needs you to do. But I know of a few people that are overseas currently and some that are coming back within the next 30 days. So again, it depends. But movement is happening.
Yes, it is. So this one, I had to look this one up just now. A 68 Yankee. I'm like, that's medical, and I never heard of that one. But it's an eye specialist. And actually, it's funny because 2 of my best friends in the military they aren't ice, they were whiskey. So a whiskey is a medic, and a medic could cross-train and do that MOS. So they weren't necessarily 68 Yankees, but they were 68 whiskeys who were in a Yankee position, I guess. But now I guess they made it their own MOS. But one of the guys that I know, he worked at MEPS first, and then PCS to what is that up in New York where they go to school, like college for the military?
Oh, West Point.
West Point, yeah. So, but I don't know.
West Point is commissioned when you coming in as a commissioned officer.
I don't know. I don't personally have any info, but they seem to like it. So somebody said, "Good night, Gavin." Lights out for Gavin. Yeah, Gavin had to go to bed. She says she's the daughter of a child. Why did you choose the branch that you did? Oh, that's a good question. So we had this talk a few lives ago, picking that particular branch. Y'all can talk about the branch you chose.
So initially, I wanted to become a Marine.
What?
I did. I did. I was 17 and I was ready.
Okay.
But when I went to the Marine, the recruiting office, no offense against any of those other Marines, it just didn't feel right. You know how you get that little intuition? You're like, I don't know. And it didn't appear to me as if they were working with me. But as far as getting a job. But the minute I walked
did you have your mindset on Marines? What made you want to do Marines initially?
In my opinion, at that time, in 98, I thought they were the toughest. And so I wanted to challenge myself. I knew straight from being, like I said, once I was 9 and I went to my first Veterans Day parade, I knew I was not going straight to college. I said, I'll figure that out after I joined the military. I needed to join the military. So, and I wanted to do what I thought at the time was the toughest one. That's always debatable, of course, but
no, I still think they're the toughest one.
Yeah. But but they just weren't working with me. They couldn't give me the jobs or a list of jobs to choose from. It was like, you're gonna have to go into this and that's it. So went next door to the Army office and it was like, so then on and my recruiters definitely help out a lot. That rapport, that relationship that you have with your recruiter can go a very long way. So they work extremely hard to get you what you need and want. So I was lucky to have one of those that, and she was female. And so seeing another female in the military at the time, which was very odd for me. I'm the first in my family to go into the military. So, seeing that, it just even furthered my decision to go into the Army. So it wasn't tough.
Okay. What about you, Ebony?
My whole family's Navy, so I just knew I wasn't going to do first of all, I wasn't going to join the military, period. I had always said, I'm never joining the military. My dad was a retired EA. I was like, I'm not joining the military. It's not for me. My brother's in the military. And then life happened. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm looking at the military now. So I ended up joining late too. I didn't join until I was 24. And so I was like looking at the branches and I was like, okay, Army is a no. I'm not doing that. And Marines is a no. I'm not doing that either. So I was like, it's between the Air Force and the Navy. And I don't feel like having to swim. I can swim, but my brother had joined the Navy and they make you like dog paddle for a long time. And then you got to die. I was like, no, we're not doing that. So I went to an Air Force recruiter. And like I said before, like the only job I wanted was a photographer. So I walked in and was like, this is the job I want. And he was like, no. So we kind of went back and forth and I ended up getting it anyway. But I chose the Air Force because I hate to say it, but I really just was like, I don't want to be in the mud. I don't want to be I don't want to be in the trenches.
Oh, that's valid.
I wanted, the quality of life was like really a major decision. Like I wanted something where I could do a job that was going to transfer over easily without it having to be like a specific medical career field. I was like, I'm not going to be in no tent. And especially after I deployed, and I was like, I made the right decision because the Marines be intense, and then the Army sometimes be intense, and then Navy, and we was never intense. I was like,
no, y'all are at the Marriott or the Hilton.
I was like, thank you. But the Marines, they would be out in the
Holiday
field. On the ground, and in the Army, like they would be triple bunked up. I was just like, see, so yeah, that was why I made my decision.
Did you get a certificate after completing AIT tech school to help with? It depends.
Yeah.
On your MOS you pick.
Like she was saying, she picked a good MOS, but like. Depends on your MOS.
And I tell people to do their research to get a good MOS, something that may give you a certificate. Don't just go in there with blind and be like, just give me what you got.
So a good tool that I'm not just learning, but it wasn't there a long time ago. But if you guys want to go on a website, it's called Cool, Army Cool, COOL.com. This is for the Army specific. It'll tell you, it'll translate civilian education into military and vice versa, in which you can get certain certificates, credentialing, all types of good things. So that's a website to definitely check out, especially if you don't plan on making the military your career, if it's just something to get you started. And while you're in the military, for those of you that don't know, you can definitely get your degree in the military as well, whatever degree you choose. And it doesn't have to be specific to your MOS or your job. It can be, because I got my degree in criminal justice and I'm admin. So it's all on what you want. But that website is definitely a good website to look into, especially if you're wanting to take your military credit into civilian once you're done.
Okay.
And the Air Force has something similar. We have Air Force School. So a lot of people, as they're preparing to separate, they look into those certifications they can get to help them, put on your resume and on your LinkedIn, that kind of thing.
And the good thing, it's free.
Mm-hmm.
It's free. So
we're gonna take a few more because we passed an hour right now. But I want to shout out to KY who said he or she, I don't know if it's he or she, swore in last week, 68 Charlie. I think that's a practical nurse, leave in September. So shout out to them.
Hey, make sure
congratulations.
Make sure you keep up ARMYprinncess.com because we're gonna have some stuff ready for you to get ready to go to basic training. You can go ahead and hook it up for your friends and family.
And then we have a National Guard, basically, versus active duty question. These ones, I don't really. I'm always go active, so I'm probably not a good person to ask about National Guard and Reserve. But I know each has its pros and cons. Which one is better?
National Guard and Reserves is if you have a profession. Like if you already have a profession, that's where it's best for. If you are like a lawyer or you have a full-time job, then you're 24, 25, 26, you have a full-time profession in which you are garnering a yearly salary, annual salary, then that's when the National Guard and the Reserve is good for you. But if you don't know what you want to do and you're like, I might go to school, then you need to go active duty and then go to school.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Like we talked about this in one of the last lives, which we had 2 recruiters on actually. And I know it was the Navy recruiter. I can't remember her name, but she was saying a lot of times people they say they want to go National Guard or Reserve because they don't want to deploy. But that's not really always the case. And she's like, if you have fears of deploying, then you probably just don't need to look into the military at all anyway.
Honestly,
I'm going to do National Guard or Reserve because I don't want to deploy or I don't want to leave home. Then you might as well not even join at all.
Right.
Because there's always that potential you're going to go.
Yes. I'm a big advocate for active duty unless, like he said, like you got a career, you got a family, you got stuff set up that you just can't leave. But if you don't have anything holding you back, go on and go active because it's not the same experience at all.
Not the same paycheck either.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you like it is. All right.
Okay. She's just saying in depth.
Delayed entry program?
For the Air Force.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, that's what's up. Hey y'all. Y'all continue to follow Army Princess. Oh, can you live with different branches? Can you go live? Go down. We did go live with different branches before.
Which one?
But to discuss how to survive basic training, that would be a good one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we could do.
How to survive.
We did Battle of the Branches. Yeah,
Battle of the Branches.
Like Air Force, they don't really have to survive. They just got to get through the different.
They just have to breathe.
I had to survive.
Oh, you probably did have to pick between crab and lobster. I feel you.
That part. Should I do steak or salmon?
First of all, I went through when they was that big scandal was happening at basic training. So actually, my brother flight, TI, they was like, it was back when they were like hooking up with trainees and all types of stuff was happening. That was in the he wants to come. He gonna keep coming around here. Say hi.
Oh, he was ready too.
Right.
Oh.
But actually, what I'm trying to do next week, if I gotta get it.
Is it next week?
Yeah, next week. I'm
Next
trying to
Friday?
get locked in. Yeah.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, we're gonna do one next week.
Oh,
But I actually have a subscriber that was watching my lives and watching my YouTube videos before she left for basic training, and she just hit me up actually like yesterday, and she's like, I just finished basic training. So I was like, do you want to come on live and talk about basic training, especially during since she went during COVID. So stay tuned for next week. I will see if I can lock that in. If not, then I may have one of my officer friends on for the people that are interested in going officer or seeing what it's like to go officer. But we gonna do it next week too.
Yeah, we don't get no sleep around here, y'all. It's all good. Like sleep is an option for the Wilson family household. So it's all good.
But that's it. We are going to go ahead and end it here. Thank you all for joining in the live. Y'all two can stay on.
Oh, I'll end the broadcast. Hey,